Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews coming at you guys with Salvation Season 1 Episode 7 review. So this episode was the first of another double episode that we had this week, and I thought it was okay. It wasn't these double episodes. Both episodes as part of this double episode weren't as good as the last time. I thought last time, the two episodes were really good, probably the best two of the series so far. And so then I thought, okay, maybe these double episodes are a good idea. Like we get a lot of a good action in them and a lot of good stuff, suspense and excitement in them, and a lot of storyline building, right? We get to see a lot of stuff. So, anyways, I was kind of on the up and up with the double episodes, but now it's kind of gone down again. I mean, the episode 8 was very good. That I am deciding to split the reviews again, so I'm going to do one for episode 7, one for episode 8. But yeah, so I think episode 8 was definitely better than this one. This one was kind of an average episode. Not much happened, to be honest. One of the slowest episodes, I think, of the show so far. But nonetheless, we got some interesting stuff. I mean, we learned a lot of stuff, and yeah, and we got to see a lot of stuff this week. So, anyways, again, I'd just like to apologize for this one being late. Yeah, some came up and I wasn't able to do it on time. So this episode 9 will be up on time on Friday along with Zoo. So yeah, and the fact that it's a double episode is taking me a little bit longer, right? It's 2 reviews instead of 1 for the week. Which is a little bit of a pain, but it is what it is. I think I'm going to stick with this, though, for double episodes in the future, because it's just so much easier than making one review for 2 episodes. It's going to end up being, 30 plus minutes, maybe even 40, and I know that no one wants to really watch a video like that for 40 minutes. So that is why I'm just splitting them up, and that's a little bit easier. So anyways, let's get right into this episode. Let's dig in. So we start off with Grace at the media stand there and at the Pentagon. She's finally back to doing her job, the press secretary job there. So she's being questioned about the ongoing drama with Russia and them pointing the missiles at the U.S. and all that. And she just lies to everyone like a typical politics thing there about, she's just telling them all lies. And then Amanda is there as well, and she actually asks a question. Now, what I'm wondering is, she's a capitaleyes.com, that's where she's from, and she gets a spot in that room for this big magnitude of an event. It's pretty nice. I mean, I don't know if that's really realistic, but yeah, I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. But anyway, she's there, and Grace basically shuts her down right away and says, you should have listened or something like that after she asked her question. So that was interesting that Grace, still doesn't like her at all. Then Harris tells Calhoun about now he is the defense guy, right? Is it the Minister of Defense or the Secretary of Defense, I guess? Yeah. So basically, he's like one step above Harris, and Harris is the Deputy Secretary of Defense or something like that. So anyway, so he's like his boss. So he tells Calhoun about the trip to London, how they got the crystals last episode, and then Calhoun agrees to work with Darius on the EM drive now again, and gives him a chance to build this so that they can get this gravity tractor, and they can be the ones to save basically the world from this asteroid coming, obviously. So yeah, so it's definitely interesting that Harris, is being honest with Calhoun, maybe even showing that he cares about his work more than his friends, sort of thing. But yeah, so then Liam's really upset about Jillian, sorry. We see kind of the after effects of last episode. He's texting her, apologizing and all that, and she isn't replying, so it's kind of like typical breakup there. And he and the crew are working on the EM drive. He says that it's coming along well, only a few more days. Darius wants to rush it a little bit more and get it ready faster because he thinks that the government will work it out with Russia and that they will be able to launch. So, he has some confidence in the government, and Liam doesn't. But anyway, so yeah, so he just wants them to get it done faster so they can get this gravity tractor up. So then, my opinion, we get a lot of Jillian sort of in this episode, and I'm not a huge fan of it. And even next episode, I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I think that she really could have just left the show, honestly, at the point where she kind of leaves Liam. Maybe bring her back towards the end of the season, but I didn't expect to see her story without Liam. In this show still. I didn't expect that, and that's what they gave us. Wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't really that happy with it because I mean, I don't like if she was to die in the show, I probably wouldn't care that much as I would for Liam, Darius, Grace, and Harris and the rest of the main characters, right? I just don't see her as one of the really important characters in this story. But that's just how I feel. So I don't know. So we see her going back to her dad's bookstore, and she can't manage to tell her dad about the asteroid and what Liam all told her. And she finds out her dad is engaged to her deceased mother's friend. And so that's kind of a little weird. And she's only been gone for 2 years, so maybe says that maybe her dad was having an affair, maybe even when she was alive. I don't know. But yeah, it was definitely crushing to Jillian because she didn't know. And also her relationship with Liam just ended. So then kind of after that Jillian thing, I am gonna follow chronological order for this one as well. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's easier for this show, but anyway. So then after that, Amanda shows Liam the picture she got from the hacking group, and so this is sort of a big deal because Liam's never seen this before, and he shows it to Darius. Darius reacts, and he doesn't really know much about it, but he wants Liam to meet with her again later, and he does. So this is an interesting scene actually, because Liam here, he's very smart actually. He kind of fakes making out with Amanda and takes her phone away off the table there, and he scans her phone with a little chip or something like that, puts it on the phone and scans it, and then right when it's done scanning, he puts the phone back and kind of pulls away a little bit, right? And so yeah, that was really interesting. I don't know, I don't know if Amanda really fell for that. I think that maybe she even knew that something was up. But and then Liam kind of says, I didn't want you to think I'm too easy or something like that as an excuse. And he leaves. So obviously it's fake for Liam because we know that he still loves Jillian and that he still wants to be with her, obviously. So this whole thing was just sort of a big fake, sort of a hoax on on Amanda. And yeah, so basically he scans her phone, gets all the images she has, and so that's he does that to get the image, so then he can find out the location of it and when it was taken and all that. So, and later on, of course, he does. So anyway, so that was really useful. So then Darius talks Grace into going to Russia with him. So he can talk to the government and try to ease things over. He thinks, they're not going to talk to the U.S. government, but they may talk to Darius Tan's sort of thing, right? And so they disable their phones and don't tell Harris that they're going. Darius says, it's for plausible deniability for Harris because, he already put his neck on the line for them last week when they went to the London little mission there. So he doesn't want anything to happen again with Harris, so that he has to lie, so they don't tell him. And then this is kind of interesting that we see Claire again, and I'm really starting to hate her, honestly. I think they're, obviously the show's trying to make us hate her, but yeah, I mean, she is just so annoying right now, and she's, just 100% against Grace because of jealousy and stuff. But anyway, so she plays the track of Grace finding out about Atlas from Katya, I think is her name, the ambassador, the Russian ambassador. So she finds out about Atlas, and Claire plays this to Calhoun. And obviously, they figure out that she lied to them about it. So Calhoun says to find her. Calhoun says, it explains everything. That is why Russia is mad at them and taking the EM drive. So obviously, we figure out that this Atlas thing is a huge deal. And then, of course, Grace is in danger, possibly, right, for not telling the truth. Calhoun just wants to find her. So, kind of a little scary there, that, she's basically being hunted, right, down so they can bring her in. So, anyways, that's kind of interesting. And Calhoun and Claire are sort of forming a little bit of a partnership here, a team, and they're sort of anti what Claire and Darius, or not Claire, Grace and Darius and all them are doing. So it's kind of interesting that sort of we have two sides to this. So that's cool. So then Grace and Darius talk to Katya in the church. Grace tells her about the asteroid and what's going on. And so Katya agrees to set up a meeting between them and their government, so that they can talk and work things out. So then we also have this storyline, which I thought it was a little weird, where Harris, meets Zoe. He comes over and to find Grace, but she's not there, so he tells her that he needs to talk to her and whatever. And of course, this is after Grace told Zoe about her and Harris earlier in the episode, so Zoe kind of already knows. And then this is kind of weird. Like, Zoe then goes on Facebook and she friends Dylan Edwards, and that's Harris's son that we saw earlier in the show. I think in episode 4, maybe episode 5. Yeah, no, I think episode 4. So yeah, it was like I don't know. I just was asking myself why is this important for the show? But I don't know. It was interesting. Kind of a funny scene, I guess. Maybe like the kids are kind of branching out to each other and talking. So I don't know. It's interesting, and we see later on, of course, in the next episode that kind of comes to fruition there. So yeah, so then Liam uses Tess to find the location of this image that he stole from Amanda, and the location is Chelyabinsk, Russia. That's how I'm gonna pronounce it. I don't know. Of the image Amanda gave her, and actually, I think it was Darius and Liam, pronounced it differently in the show even. So I don't know. It's a hard word, but anyways, so he finds that's location, and then the whole story kind of is starting to connect back. And Darius is kind of the one talking the viewers through it. And so basically, you're finding out Project Atlas was a weapons program, and they used this asteroid that hit Russia in 2013, and they used it against them, and they were the ones who made it hit them on purpose, and they were using TAN's technology to do it. So, and it wasn't a natural disaster. The U.S. did it to Russia. So, yeah, I mean, this is and this is a real asteroid as well. This actually did happen in real life in 2013, where they were hit with this in Chelyabinsk, this asteroid. But in this show, they're kind of spinning the facts, obviously. But anyways, so wouldn't that be crazy if that actually was the truth in 2013? I don't know. That'd be pretty crazy. But anyways, so the Russians basically think they're doing it again with this asteroid, and that's why they want to basically stop them, and that's why they want to do it themselves, because they don't trust them and all that. So then Harris, so that was a really interesting thing, and then that's probably one of the biggest parts of this episode, that we kind of learn, all the stuff that's going on with Atlas. So then Harris sees the photos on Liam's computer that he got from Amanda. Definitely not good. I mean, it gives Harris, it tells him about the whole uranium thing with Grace. There's a picture of her on there. So, obviously stuff that Harris, shouldn't see. And he sees it on Liam's computer there. I'm surprised Liam, wouldn't close it or something like that when he saw Harris come in, or at least something like that. But, Harris obviously, the government basically, and, he orders Liam to do anything really. So, yeah, so Liam can't really do much. And he tells Harris that they did go to Moscow, because, like I said, Harris, orders him to tell him or something like that. And Liam kind of has a funny thing, he says, if I plead the fifth, would you arrest me or something like that? Because he doesn't want to tell him, but he ends up telling him. So then Harris knows where they are. So then Darius and Grace go to this blue car to get to the meeting after Katya told them that, this is a vehicle that they can take there. But right when they get there, Darius finds that the little like red light blinking, and he figures out it's a bomb and it's been planted in the car. And he kind of saves Grace and pulls her down to the ground, and they get away just in time. But if they would have gotten in the car, they definitely would have been dead. They would have burned to death really in there. So, all of a sudden it's a panic situation. They go back to the room and they find Katya, the friend there, lying dead on their bed, which is like a big thing because, why would Russia, kill their own ambassador? That was kind of crazy. So Grace wants to go to her and touch her, but Darius says that it's a poison and that, if she touches her, then she might die as well. So, he kind of is the the moral guy here. Like, he knows what's going on and he knows the situation. So that's good. And so that was a bit surprising. I didn't see that coming. Then so then we basically find out that the Russians are framing Darius and Grace for killing her. And obviously that's not the truth. They didn't do it. And so we see that on like the little TV that they're part of a manhunt in Moscow. So it's a big deal. So then Darius throws away the passports that they have in that little like garbage bin, and so that they are nobodies. And I think Grace says, without those, we're nobodies. And Darius says that's exactly who we have to be. And so then we basically end up, they're trapped in Russia. They're being hunted down, and there's really no way out of Moscow. So that's without their passports. So that's going to be really interesting. Obviously, we've all seen that next episode, but this would have been great for a week break as well. Just them being trapped and then we seeing the aftermath the next episode. But I don't know, I did like it as well with the double back to back. So anyways, that was really interesting. So then Liam goes to the address of this resist hacking group that he finds from the picture thing that Tess finds the location. So he goes to this old like abandoned building kind of, and Dylan Edwards, which obviously Harris's son, is there, and he's in the hacking group, and he kind of like runs it. So that was interesting. I mean, I didn't see that one coming, but it kind of hinted at that before. I think that he was part of a hacking group and stuff. So maybe I should have seen it coming. But basically, then he says they've been waiting for Liam to come there. So obviously they kind of set this whole thing up. Maybe they knew that Amanda would show him the picture. Maybe they knew that he would find them eventually. I don't know. But definitely really interesting and kind of creepy though as well that they knew all this stuff and Liam didn't. So definitely interesting end to this episode. So definitely an interesting ending to this one. I think it built a lot of suspense for the next episode, but ends up that we got the next episode on the same night. So I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit like maybe kind of rubbed the wrong way a little bit with this. Just that it was a double episode. I feel like this episode would have been a lot better if it was just by its own, and then next week we get to see the aftermath of this episode. But anyways, is what it is. That's just how CBS decided to do it. So my rating for this one is a 3.6 out of 5. And I know, this is pretty low. I mean, season or episode 4 and 5 were both 4.4 high 4s. 4.8 and 4.9, I think. So, yeah, I don't know. This one definitely just wasn't my favorite. It wasn't as good as the last one. I think the stuff with Jillian is just kind of, getting old for me. I don't think that we really need to see her stuff after that she was done with Liam. But I don't know. It kind of leads to something in episode 8, I guess. So maybe it is relevant, but for me, I'm just not a big fan of it. The whole thing with Zoe and Dylan, I don't really see, point in that. I don't really see where that's going. And I really like the way, though, that Claire and Calhoun are kind of forming a team against the others. So it's kind of, there's sides in this. And I like the way that they explain Project Atlas, that Darius kind of explained it to the viewers in a way by explaining it to Grace. Yeah, I mean, and the whole like thing there at the end where they throw away the passports, they're trapped. I like the writing there. That they are totally just they can't get out, and they're in a lot of danger. So yeah, kind of interesting. I don't know the whole point of the Resist like hacking group. I don't know where that's gonna go really. Episode 8, we didn't really see much of it, just at the very beginning. So yeah, it is it's okay. But for me, I just didn't really understand a lot of the stuff in this one. But there was definitely some highlights. Don't get me wrong. So yeah, 3.6. So then my favorite character for this one is Darius Tans. Now I haven't had him as my favorite character already for episode 7. So I don't know why. He hasn't really done it for me, I guess, yet. But this episode, I really like the way he was talking with Grace, and his whole plan to go to Russia and help the world basically, or save the world himself, is just so heroic. And the way he's able to spot the bomb, he's able to see and save him and Grace. Just all the stuff that he does is just amazing. And how smart he is in these situations. He knows what to do. And setting up the meeting with the government, with Katya, and going with Grace, and doing that. So I think it's just a really good character development for him. And the actor Santiago Cabrera plays him, and he's doing an awesome job. I mean, he's probably him and Jennifer Finnegan, who plays Grace, or not? Grace. They're really like taking the show away, right? I think, and Ian Anthony Dale's doing a great job though too. Charlie Rose, really funny, and I mean the delivery of his lines are awesome. But outside of those four, really, I think the actors for this one are a little bit, kind of lacking a little bit outside of those four. But I think those four are doing an amazing job with this, really bringing the show to life. And yeah, Santiago Cabrera is really good in this. Basically, he's the lead character. He's the main character in this one. Although I think it was kind of Liam at first, but now it's kind of transitioned to Darius and Grace. So yeah. So anyways, he's my favorite character for this one. And we've seen a lot of development for him, some backstory. So we're kind of finally getting to know this character and really, able to kind of put ourselves in his shoes, which is a big thing for the writers there. So anyways, next video will be for the next episode of this one, the double episode. So yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you for the next one, season 1, episode 8 of Salvation.